Well, it's great to see you.
Thank you. Thank
Thanks
you.
for taking a little bit of time. So, as I explained, or someone explained, we're trying to put together something to sort of lift the spirits and help our community cope with these trying circumstances. And I knew from before this that you were in exactly that line of work, and that you would be a great resource for us. So what I'll do, I'm recording us now, and we'll cut down whatever is usable, which will probably be mostly you and very little me of this, and include it in one of the programs when we release it, probably sometime this week. So that's our plan, and why don't we go ahead and get started? You are my second interview, so I've really polished my skills now and have this down to a science.
All right.
All right. So first of all, Lindsay, tell me a little bit about yourself, and about your time at Friends, and where you are now.
Well, I want to say that let's see. I graduated from Friends in 1984. And when I look back, I have so many fond memories. One of the best memories I had is when my high school teacher took us all outside and said, let's sit under this tree. And he said to us, should we have dropped the atom bomb?
Hmm.
And I thought to myself, what? Of course. And he said, no, I want us to look at the bigger picture from all different people's point of view, of the people that passed, the people that could have passed. You think about it from all different, and there's no right or wrong answer. Open your mind. And
Hmm.
that blew me away. And that really sums up how I remember Friends School. Friends School thought of out of the box, thought of all people as human beings around the whole world, and really opened our heart with compassion and empathy and the understanding of tolerance. And as I look at my fellow alumni that I graduated with, many of us went into the fields of teaching and law and helping other people and being doctors. And I really think a lot of that is because we grew up with Friends School, knowing that all people and also the whole world has the right to exist, for it's just alive. We're all in this together.
Hmm. That's
So,
wonderful.
yeah.
I'm very happy to hear that Friend School has stuck with you and influenced your path. Tell me a little bit about the path you followed. I know you've had a few different sort of variations on your career over time.
I have, well, what happened was when I graduated from University of Maryland College Park, I actually got into sales and realized that was not it for me. And I got into education, and I learned how to teach dyslexics and became an educational therapist. I moved to California and was an educational therapist. And then I became a high school teacher for emotionally disturbed kids, kids that were bipolar, schizophrenic. A lot of them had really bad anxiety, suicidal tendencies, lived in foster care. And I taught for years. And then they asked me, would I be a mentor teacher? And then I became the principal.
Hmm.
And then from that, they asked me, would I be the headmaster of the school? Now, all of a sudden,
Say
I was
no,
the
say
headmaster.
no.
I know. Of all these kids from third to 12th grade, I worked at the school it was in LA. And the school was for kids that couldn't make it. They were on IEPs in the regular school system because of these emotional difficulties and challenges they've had in their lives. I worked there for 23 years.
Wow.
Yeah. So after I finished that, I kind of retired from that, and I looked at my husband and I said, what do you think I should do? And he said, Lindsay, you've helped all these people that have been, quote, broken or,
Hmm.
really stressed. Why do you have to be in a special school to learn the things that you taught?
Hmm.
And really what I taught was from the concept of Friend School: compassion, empathy, tolerance for all people, knowing that good is in everyone, and the mindfulness meaning being in the present moment, knowing that when we have something going on, if we cannot judge it, if we can observe it with an open heart, we can find a solution.
Hmm.
And so I started to teach mindfulness. And for the last now coming on 6 years, I teach independently. I teach in schools, and I also teach in a lot of organizations like the YMCA, JPL, NASA, I've taught there 7 times.
Mm.
If anyone wants to see my class, the first class I taught at JPL, they can put in Lindsay Leimbach into Google and hit video, and some of my videos will come up. And they actually taped my very first seminar that I taught there, and you can see the whole class. It's really
Wonderful.
quite well done.
And JPL, for those not from Southern California, is the Jet Propulsion Lab, I believe.
That's
Right?
right.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we will be including, through the marvels of technology, links to several sites that include resources from you and some of your teaching videos as well. But tell me, this is a time when I think there is not a single person probably on the planet who couldn't use some help coping with the ambient anxiety that we're all experiencing. What's your approach to that, and what are some techniques that if someone needed a quick introduction to managing their anxiety through mindfulness that you would offer?
Okay, that's a great question. I like to call it the ABCDs of stress shifting.
Mm.
So mindfulness is being aware in the present moment without judgment. So we have to be aware of what we're feeling. And when we get triggered by stress, or when we get bombarded by things we feel like we can't handle, if we're unaware, what happens is we have a fight, flight, freeze response. And that really gets us into that anxiety mode. The problem right now with the coronavirus going on is that we're being bombarded with the unknown, and we're having that fear response all the time. So we're all in this chronic stress. And by doing that, that actually accelerates our adrenaline and our cortisol, and actually makes things worse. It brings down our immune system. It makes us extremely tired because we're using so much energy in this worried and in this anxiety. And then the other thing it does is it prevents us from sleeping. And we need to be able to sleep. So we need to be aware. So that's A, awareness. What are we feeling? Don't judge it. Just know that everyone is having that. If you're having this stress reaction, especially if your children are having this stress reaction, don't judge it as right or wrong. Just be aware that they're having it. Now, B is take a breath. And this is really a huge point. We all have our breath. And when we take a breath in, we're taking in oxygen, and this is giving us a whole bunch of good, positive energy. And then when we're releasing, if you do a longer release, you can actually feel it activating your parasympathetic nervous system. And your parasympathetic nervous system is your nervous system that will bring us out of that anxiety, out of that fight, flight, freeze response, more into a calm state. When we go into a calm state, we're able then to activate our higher level of thinking. And this is where we do our problem solving. When you're in this anxiety state, you just go to old habits. You want to eat, or you want to yell, or maybe you want to scream, or you want to hide. These are old habits that we might have. But we need to go into this higher level with an open heart. And this is up here in your higher level of thinking. So taking that breath, breathe in, hold, and then release longer. I like to release for 5, 2, 3, 4, 5, and doing it 3 times will start to shift you. So then you go to C, A, awareness, B, breath, C is take a choice. Then you want to make a skillful choice. Not old ways of doing it. That's not going to serve us. What can we do in the present moment that's a skillful choice that will help the situation? So that's A, B, and C. And then your D, once you make a skillful choice that hopefully is from your heart, because you have your compassion, your empathy, and your understanding open, D is do. If you want to bring down your fear, you have to take some kind of action. Now, that doesn't mean that you go outside and run around. That's not the action we do now. But if you realize I need to do something, and you actually move into doing, you will start feeling empowered. And doing could be just like calling a friend and being kind. Doing could be writing an email. Doing could be baking some cookies and giving it out. When in doubt, I always say be kind. So when you are having anxiety in this situation, and this is true for any age, allow someone to be aware that they're there without judging it, because if you judge it, then you're going to make it worse. If you have that negative thinking, be aware you're there, take your breath, realize that you have a choice to continue whatever you chose to do or a choice to do something different, and then do some action with kindness. And if we keep doing the ABCDs, we can get through this. And actually, we're building up our brain to be able to do this in the future. When this is all done, we can learn how not to worry less and have less anxiety and feel more empowered and centered. So this can be really a great time to learn how to control your own thinking in these at home right now.
Yeah. Well, that is fantastic. I feel like we just got a master class in just a few short minutes. And I do know, as I said, we're sharing links to other resources with you, and that there'll be plenty of opportunity. But just as a beginner, that was really a valuable lesson. And I really appreciate your time. And thanks for being with us. I hope you and your family remain well. And as you said, we're all going to get through this and get to the other side and hopefully be a little wiser and less anxious as a result.
And a lot more kinder.
And a lot
When in
kinder.
doubt,
Yes.
be kind, and also try to smile, because
Yeah.
that activates your brain to know that things will be calm.
Yeah.
So when in doubt, be kind and give yourself a smile, and then do your action.
Well, you've been very kind to all of us and you're smiling for all of us. So hopefully that'll work out well for you. And thank you so much. We appreciate your time.
Bye-bye. Thank you so much, Matt.